Here we go. Hello, everybody. I have a very special guest here today that I'm excited to introduce that has been so generous to offer her time today and talk about her multiple sclerosis and her journey and from there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over to Virginia, and you can just kind of introduce yourself and go from there.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. I am Virginia. I am 27. I am located in Michigan, and I was diagnosed March 23rd, 2021.
Okay, that's right. I forgot we were a year apart, so I was 2020.
Yep. I'm 2021, so I'm actually coming up on my year diagnosis. Very, very bittersweet moment right now because I can vividly see and remember and kind of feel like how I was feeling in these moments of leading up into my diagnosis. Because the end of February was when I started noticing like persistent symptoms. Some of my symptoms were numbness in my feet. So I thought that maybe I had a pinched nerve in my back or something. So like the numbness will go in and out and in and out. And then 1 week, so like the last week of February, it was just constant, just numb. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should make a doctor's appointment.
Right.
So I make a doctor's appointment and she's like, well, maybe it's your posture, maybe it's how you're sitting, whatever, do these stretches and I'm gonna run some blood work. So I'm like, okay, cool. So as I seen her on a Wednesday, by Friday, I had numbness all the way up to my waist.
Oh, wow.
And me and her has been in contact. So it takes about, you got to think, it takes about 2 days for you to get your full blood work back from your doctor's office. And she was like, well, your blood work was fine. And I'm like, yeah, but
something's not right.
To my waist. So what is next? So I went in and seen her again. And
was this a primary care doctor or neurologist?
So this was my primary care office. Here in Michigan, you have a hard time. I don't know if it's like anywhere else, but like seeing your actual primary is hard. So typically you'll probably see an NP, a PA, or something like that. If you need to be seen urgently. So I knew I couldn't wait to see my doctor because she books you out like 2 months away. So I'm like, no, I need to see somebody. And then I didn't feel like, and I think as Black people, we always chuck things up to, well, it's stress. Well, it's stress. And granted, I was going through a very stressful time in my life when I was diagnosed. But I should have went to the emergency when I couldn't feel from the waist down. Like, that's what I should have did. But as I feel like in our culture and how we were raised, it's like,
strong Black woman, suck it up. You got to go to work. You got to get paid. So
yep, it's just stress. It's just stress. You're doing too much. So granted, with numbness from the waist down, I the next day I was in a master's program. So I was in public health master's. I was studying epidemiology, which is the study of diseases. Crazy, right? And I had a full day and it was hybrid. So this was the only day we met in person. So I'm like, I gotta go. So I spent 8 hours on my feet, walking around, again, completely numb from the waist down. Like, I don't know how I was doing it, but I did it.
Wow.
And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, this is what's going on. Because when you look at me, you can't see it. You can tell I'm kind of walking funny, but you really can't tell something's wrong with me. So I was like, I'm gonna go home on Sunday, because I was at her house, but that was Saturday. And I was like, I'm just gonna rest all day. And hopefully it'll go away. And she's like, okay, let me know, whatever. So Sunday I didn't do anything. I literally, the only thing I did was take my dog outside. And he only goes out twice a day, but I laid around all day And then the next morning I woke up, went to the bathroom, and you go to the bathroom, do what you gotta do. And
Yeah.
I couldn't feel anything. I lost complete feeling.
Oh, wow.
So I looked at my then boyfriend and was like, I gotta go to the emergency. And he's like, do you want me to take you? I'm like, no, I'll just go. Like, cause I can still walk. I just couldn't feel anything.
Oh, yeah, you're
I,
not.
I couldn't feel anything. So I still could walk. So I'm like, can't be nothing too bad, like I'm still moving. So drove 30 minutes to the nearest emergency of where I was living at the time. And that was my process of starting the whole emergency, and everyone coming in looking at me like, nope, not my problem. Nope, not my problem. The neurology was like, we might have to look into it. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I've like, and it's one of these things with MS being 27. This is one of my only major crises. I've never been ill on this magnitude. Like before MS, I was a perfectly healthy black
27-year-old
woman.
woman. Yeah. It's amazing how it evolves over time, and we don't listen to our body, and then something else happens, and then it kind of builds up. Because I can think back to at least a decade ago where I was starting to get symptoms. But again, like
Mhm.
you said, the stress just chalked it up to
Mhm.
stress, to high paced job. I'm young. I, have a really good career. I'm stressed out. I just need to relax. I need to go on vacation. And unfortunately, with us in our community, it's something that's not discussed enough.
Mhm.
Unless you know somebody that either one has it or you have it, um,
Mhm.
you don't really understand the magnitude of what multiple sclerosis is and what it can do to our bodies. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
hoping, like with this platform, is that we can bring awareness to our communities so we can get the discussions going, so people are more aware of their bodies, and they're able to be diagnosed a lot faster than,
Mhm.
like for me, I had, like I said, I had symptoms going back at least a decade. And,
Mhm.
and then I started having all these orthopedic issues, and, doctors telling me, oh, it's because your gait's off, you're overcompensating. Once we repaired, your knee, or we repair your foot, things should get better. And unfortunately, it didn't. It got to the point, kind of like you, where I wasn't numb, but I could hardly walk. Like I literally I had gotten surgery on my foot in September of 2019, and from
Okay.
September to January, I still was using crutches. And my physical therapist was like, something's not right. You shouldn't, like, you should be to the point where you should be able to walk and not use your crutches.
Right.
So, he wanted me to go and get a second opinion to kind of figure out what was going on. And they thought that I had a pinched nerve somewhere. That's what
Mhm.
they always chalk it up to.
Like nerves. You got a pinched nerve
You got a pinched
somewhere.
nerve somewhere. That's what's wrong with you. And so, and it's so frustrating because something's not right, and
Mhm.
you have doctors that are medically trained that are supposed to be able to help you, are not giving you, or aren't attentive. I cannot talk today, girl. Um, are not attentive to enough to do the thorough workup that they need to do to get us the diagnosis. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's looked at as a white woman's disease.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Like that. That was really so. When I was when I was admitted, and again I got admitted, and they were like, we got to do some imaging. We want to do some images.
Mhm.
So I had my spine MRI at 11 o'clock that night. Who said to do it that late? But whatever.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Um, ridiculous. So that was at 11 o'clock at night. So it's like what, 2 hours? You're
Right.
stuck in there because they did every vertebrae. And so the next morning they come in, was like, oh, Virginia, you need another MRI. They're like, I do one of your brain.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when I got concerned
Right.
because I was pre-med in undergrad, and I also, my master's was in public health. So I'm very familiar with the medical system and how all of these things work.
Right.
And they found something on that first MRI. That's the only reason why you're doing another
Trigger to the second one. Yep.
And so then I did the brain MRI, and by the time I got back up to my room, I was getting ready to eat, and the neurology team came in.
Oh,
And
wow.
he was like, well, you're gonna get another MRI. We got a few things we want to check out. I was like, well, I just came from MRI. He was like, your brain MRI? And like, yeah. So
Mhm.
he pulled it up right there in front of me. And when he seen my brain MRI, he shook his head and he was like, yep, it's exactly what what we thought. It is, basically saying that you have multiple sclerosis. And he explained to me, with multiple sclerosis, it's a shape that your lesion is, that mainly gives it away.
Right.
When everything else checks out. So I was grateful enough I got out of a spinal tap because they were trying to still schedule me a spinal tap, and I was like, well, he said we have the MRI and then we have my symptoms, and I also had a MS attack and I didn't know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a really dated lesion in my brain and in my spine.
Wow.
Um and and then he's asking me, he's like, well, can you think back 10 years ago? Sir, I was 17. I wasn't thinking about none of this. Like, ain't no
Right.
telling what I was doing. Like,
But if you take the time to like really think back now that you got your diagnosis, can you think of some symptoms that you had prior that they just didn't register that that's what it was?
yep, it didn't register. Like I've had headache. Headaches has been my thing since I was 16. So, it's like, okay. And then some of the stuff I experienced in my earlier 20s, I'm like, okay. And
Mhm.
then I was able to come up with all my symptoms back from my diagnosis. I went back was like 8 months when I was like, that's when it started.
Right.
That
That's when
when
they really presented itself to the point where your body was like, okay, you need to figure out what's going on. Something's not right. So with me, I mean, I can think back like I can think back probably till about 2006. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, I can think back to I had this issue where all of a sudden my leg would just go out. Just walking and my leg would completely just go out, go limp, and I would just fall. And
Mhm.
I used to be a huge person that was into bodybuilding, lifting weights, cardio,
Mhm.
kickboxing. I was very active. So I thought, oh, I've probably tweaked something from working
Mhm.
out, it'll go. And then it didn't happen anymore. So I'm like, yeah, that's what it was. I, tweaked
Right, right.
exercise.
Mhm. Because that's
So
what we tell ourselves. We doctored ourselves, like, and we're like, that's
go,
what it is.
going to Google,
Right.
Google
Put your finger
diagnosing
on
yourself. Like, no, don't do that. Do not do that. Go to a doctor.
Google. Do not go to Google. Please do not go to
Not
Google.
go, look, you go into Google, look, you might as well be picking out caskets
I
and
was about to say you're dying in 2 weeks. Like that's just what Google tell you every time.
like, don't do that, please, don't do that. So yeah, I can think back to a long, long time ago that it kind of manifested itself. So how, like for you, how is because you're coming up on a year. And I know for me, my first year, I went through a different, I had so many different emotions that I've gone through the first year. How is your mental health?
My mental suffered. In all transparency, I am one of those people. Um, I believe I'm the light. I believe that my purpose is to keep a smile on people's face and, make sure people are together. I'm a helper, I'm a giver.
Mhm.
So it's hard for me to open up and say,
You need help.
yes, I'm struggling. Like my mental is struggling because I'm the light, you know, I'm the one that, you know, brings the smile. So if I'm not doing it, you know, what am I, you know, I'm not fulfilling my purpose. So that's actually what I've been doing for the past like month. Is really tapping into my mental health.
Good.
Because as me, I was explaining to you, I had a plan. I had a whole plan of leaving my hometown, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with better weather, and my MS is gonna, you know. And when the reality of MS hit, um, and basically I become disabled once a month because of my regular cycle, it triggers something in my left leg, and my left leg does not move.
Man.
And it's 24 hours, but it's been happening since the summer, and I really thought it was just stop. Like, and you know, so I do like my detoxes right before my cycle comes, and I, you know, I make sure I'm stretching. I'm like, yeah, this leg not gonna go out this time, not this time.
And I think we've
Um,
talked about this before. You're not on any medicine as of right now, right?
so as of right now, I am not on any drug modifying therapies. I wanted to, well, the drug that he was trying to put me on because of that possibility of,
No.
yep, that PLA, whatever,
Mhm.
PML, whatever. I have a few family members who had brain conditions,
Okay.
so it kind of scared me.
I already
And
have this.
then, yep, and so it's like, I would want to stay away from something that has that side effect to it.
Right.
Because, you know, people are like, well, the odds, what are the odds? Well, I'm the only person that has MS in my family. So my odds have not been looking too good. So I try to stay away from stuff that could lead to that. So I am not, but I do plan on getting reevaluated around my 1 year mark, and basically seeing like, am I progressing, or what I'm doing holistically, is that working?
Working. Yeah, and so for people, just to kind of level set everybody so they understand what DMTs are, um, drug modifying treatment or drug modifying therapy, they call it. It's meant to slow down the progression of your multiple sclerosis. And years ago, there was only like a few medications that people could use for multiple sclerosis. Now they have a laundry list of different medications that are out there. So I understand your hesitation. You're doing the natural route. That's good, but make sure you keep up with your neurologist and that you stay getting. You should at least be your neurologist should at least be requesting an MRI on you once a year,
Yeah.
and they need to look at your brain, and they need to also look at your spine and make sure that you haven't developed any new lesions or that you have any old lesions that are active.
Hmm.
So that's like my one advice to you that I'll say. I mean, I'm only a year in more than you are, um, but that's one thing that I'll say to you is make sure that every year, if you're going to do the holistic route, that you're getting those MRIs and you make sure that what you're doing is working.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
that one thing that I tell people is I would hate for you not to get on a DMT and you progress, your MS ends up progressing really, really far along. And you get to the point where, you lose your ability to walk at all, or you lose your ability to, so just stay on top of that. That's one of the things that I would say. Um, and as far as your mental health goes, listen, I'm a phone call away. If you ever need to talk, pick up the phone. I'm happy to talk to, because people don't really realize that it's hard talking to people that don't have it.
Man, like, cause it's like, oh my God, like it's
That-
one of those things where I'm just like, everybody stop talking to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, because it's one of the things, and I had to remind myself, like, Virginia, they don't care about MS. They don't have MS. You
Yeah.
have to educate them. You have to inform them,
Yeah.
because yes, like MS sends us through roller coasters. Yes, one day I can get up get all nice, get all cute, get dressed, and the next day I could be
Can't move.
bedridden.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, people are like, well, that's just dramatic. No, like, that's real life. Like,
reality. Yeah, that's the reality. Like, yeah, so
your body will not move. Like, your body will not move. Like, you can't, like, you know, it's because I'm one of them people, I push through everything. I'm a go getter. I'm like, yeah, we about to get this, about to go. And I can't push through it. And I'm like, oh, it's so frustrating. So, and I know that's where a lot of my mental health comes in. It's because I look at my age and I'm like, I'm 27. I don't have any kids. I should be able to be up and across this world.
Yeah.
Ugh. So, yeah.
Listen, God doesn't give us more than what we can handle. And I know, and if you would have said this to me the year I was diagnosed, I would tell you to kiss my ass, like, just shut up. Because, you know, I went through, I went through the whole gamut of emotions. I went through all of them. I had got to the point where I was like, you know what, it would be a lot easier if God just took me. I don't want to deal with this shit no more. And then something within the past year has just come over me where I had to because I did the denial stage for a while. You know, it was like, don't gotta talk about it, it's not there.
Right, it doesn't exist.
And then I ended up in a bad flare last summer, or the summer of 2020. Guys, I can't believe we've been in this pandemic. Yeah. So summer of 2020, I ended up in another flare, and the doctor that diagnosed me, I went back to him to get a 3-day steroid drip, and he kind of, don't they taste horrible?
Taste horrible. And then, like, I don't know about you, but my tolerance to them steroids, like, I feel like a drug addict when I come off of them. Like, weaning my body off of it, I feel like I'll be ready to be like, take me back to the hospital, please, because this hurts. Like, it just,
you can't sleep, you're real finicky. Like, I tell people, if I'm on steroids, you know, I just leave me alone, because I don't know about you, but I get angry, I get agitated easily. Everything annoys me.
Only when I, like, really, when I first get it, I feel a high. So when I'm in the hospital and they give me that steroid, I'm taking my shower, I'm moving some stuff around in the room, I'm ordering me food and whatever, because I know it's gonna go away. So it's like, it's that, like, I be feeling good, but that coming off of it, oh yeah, I be mean, like,
miserable. Yeah, miserable. But yeah, I mean, the mental health, though, it's important. So, you know, if you need somebody to talk to somebody, like I said, I'm a phone call away. You can call me if you just want to be like, listen, I don't want you to say nothing, I just want you to listen.
And look, okay, look, because that really be me, like, because when, you know, your family loves you, they care for you, so they want to try to fix you, and it's like, no, like, I really just need, just listen, like, just don't say nothing, just let me just talk, and I do this to my best friend all the time, and I just vent, and I'm like, okay, all right, now what are we doing today? Like, I just needed that moment,
get it out.
Yeah, we hold so much in because people do not understand it. Then people will look at you dead in your face, be like, oh, you're really sick, huh? You're really sick. Like, yes, I just had the energy to put some clothes on today.
Yeah, I took a shower today, and I got dressed.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I accomplished a lot today. Yeah, or you have the people that want to tell you about somebody that they know that has it and how they deal with it, and no, they're just fine, and not realizing that every person's MS is different. What works for somebody else is not going to work for me. Why? Because I have like my lesions, to kind of level set, is I have a lesion on every single vertebrae of my thoracic spine. Yeah. 7 on my cervical, 2 on my brain. So that's why, the doctor was like, you need to be aggressive because you've had it for years. You need to slow it down, because if you don't, then, the outcome of that is I won't be able to walk at all. So
And statistically, Black women, we are more prone to be coming to that point of where we're not walking, where we're not, we're very, very disabled, compared to, even though our white counterparts, supposedly, we're learning that we're evolving into, we're kind of even, we're even with our white counterparts. But supposedly with our white counterparts, there's more of them, but we suffer the most. And
Yes.
that's all.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
because the diagnosis takes longer.
diagnosis takes longer. We are of the slavery descendant, so we already have that stress in our body. So our body is already, Black people are already predisposed to health issues
Yeah,
anyways. Then you get people like us who just are extra sensitive to the matter of fact. So, and then like you said, it takes so long to get diagnosed. Like 10 years of that stuff just impacting your body.
yeah.
Crazy. Like that's, and it's crazy. So I try to remind myself I'm very, very blessed
That they found
to
it
know,
early.
yes, to know this early. It's depressing because like literally life was just like taken out, and I have all these other things that I want to think about, like dating and kids and career and all this stuff, but I can attack it sooner.
Well,
And
let me give you a little bit of hope here.
okay.
So my cousin is a year older than me. So I'll be 42 this year. She'll be 43 in July.
Mm-hmm.
She actually was diagnosed in 2006. They found hers very early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, she had she has two daughters, one of which is only 6 months old. So
Oh.
there's hope for you, and for others. And me, I don't want no damn kids. I got a dog, but
We don't play like that, Miss Mia. Okay.
but don't let this be a death sentence to you to where you think your life is over. Your life is not over. It might take you a little bit longer to do certain things than it takes other people, but to me that just brings more appreciation for when you do have certain things, because of where you're at now.
Yeah.
So don't look at it as I'm 27 and my life is over. Your life is not over, honey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just beginning. And one of the things that, like for me, I don't know if you've gotten to this point yet, but the first year I kind of went through denial. And then last March, for MS Awareness Month, I said, okay, I need to start getting transparent with people. And, because the hardest thing for me is pride, where it's like, oh my God, somebody's going to see me with my walker, or somebody's going to see me with my scooter. Because I've always been that girl that's walking around and $800-900 shoes, and
I shoot now.
expensive bags. So it's like to go from that image to
Mm-hmm.
being disabled, and like the worry and the fear of what other people are going to think, um to fast forward to last March, where I said, you know what? I said, the only thing I'm doing is making things more difficult for me, trying to keep making excuses to people of why I can't do certain things. Right. So I said, I'm going to own this. And so for MS Awareness Month last year, I went and I researched a whole bunch of different Black celebrities that had multiple sclerosis, and I shared their story. And then this year, I was like, you know what? I want to put a face to, not just celebrities are impacted by this, but everyday women like me are impacted by this. And so that's why I wanted to do these sit downs with people. So maybe it might help somebody else get a diagnosis a lot sooner than what we had, or maybe just giving somebody comfort to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. And that's definitely one of the things that I'm passionate about too is that community.
Yeah.
Because when I first heard about, again, no one in my family has this. No one in my family. So I'm the first. So no one in my family can help me.
Right.
Of course you go and you Google, and Montel Williams that was my celebrity. He was my celebrity that helped me through that first week, because
Okay.
I was a hot mess. But I would just watch his interviews, and I would read his articles, and I would just, watch few, snippets of his show and everything. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. It's not, again, it's not a, like you said, it's
Oh,
not a death sentence.
definitely. It's
You're
not
you're
definitely.
not you're not dying.
Mm-mm.
You got this. You got this. And it's one of those things, like MS is one of those things, it will constantly remind you of that. So you have to go through that process constantly. Like, you have
Right.
to constantly remind yourself, like,
Right.
it's okay. Like, I'm
Right.
okay.
Right.
Because it gets to a point, like, I don't know about you in stimulation, but sometimes too much stimulation around me, I shut down and I crash. And it's been moments where I'm just lashing out at people around me, because I'm like, just shut up, like,
Yeah. Just,
everybody
yeah.
stop. And people, like, get like, oh my God, like, you have you can yell, like, because I'm really mellow. I'm a calm person, but
Right.
so it's like those type of things like that is heavy on me, because I work with children,
Hmm.
and I work in classrooms where it gets loud, and I have to be able to make sure I can keep these babies safe. And,
Right.
like, I'm going through the transition of my career, like, and it's just so much that MS just constantly reminds you. So again, like you said, that community of, I'm not alone. I
Right.
don't, there's other women that, what, like you said, I had this great image of myself, and I was this bomb female.
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
And you still are. You still
right,
are.
right,
Yeah, you
right.
still are.
But it was that, because what we thought that was our forever. Like, I'm
Mhm.
forever gonna be this person. Like, I'm
Yeah.
forever keep going up. Like, hold on. Like, I got disability. That's going backwards. Hold on, God. I'm supposed to be going the
Forward.
other.
Go forward. Yeah.
Like,
And
hold on.
yeah, and I mean, I relate to you on that 100%. It just, I don't know if this makes sense, but I have never been so clear about my purpose in life as I am right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm able to kind of reevaluate some situations in my life and things that have happened where I had so much anger and um, anger towards people for things that they had done to me, right? Um, where I finally was able to offer them some, um, what is the word? I'm like,
Right.
yes, I was able to offer them some grace that I don't think, well, I know up until my MS diagnosis, I didn't have any empathy for anybody. Like,
Mm-hmm.
look, this is just the life that you've been dealt. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a hard life. I think about like the hardships
Mm-hmm.
of me growing up. And so when I look at other people, well, when I looked at other people, and it's like, you really haven't gone through too much. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really made me more empathetic. It's humbled
Mm-hmm.
me. It's
Woo.
made me a little bit more, it's made me more aware of giving people that grace, and understanding that maybe they just haven't got to the point in life where I am yet, where they can't see that they're in their own way because they're holding on to this anger, right? Um, but I've never been so clear about who I am as a person um, than I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
You
Isn't
know,
that crazy?
it
Isn't
is. It
that
is.
crazy?
It's like you gotta go through some. I'll always
Mm-hmm.
help. I heard my elder say, you got to go through some shit to understand some shit, right?
Like,
And
for real. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And so, like, this is the shit that I needed to go through to kind of balance me and bring me down and be more compassionate to others and the choices that other people have made that I may not agree with. Yeah, so it's just
it's definitely, I had that moment too, like I feel clearer. I feel like I said, I know my purpose here is to make sure people are okay, make sure people are smiling. Like I'm a goofball. Like my my family and friends be frustrated sometimes with me because they're like, when you telling us something wrong with you, how do you throw a joke in it every time? Because I'm like, that's how I cope. That's my coping mechanism. I laugh at myself. Like if I'm sitting up here running into walls all day, I'm like, man, Virginia, you need to lay off them drinks or something like that. You don't see these walls, like, and it just helps me get through it. But like I'm one of them people, like I'm super compassionate. Like I just love everybody. I love everybody. And the moment that I got MS, it was like freedom. It was like you worry too much about everything.
everybody
Just
else.
live. Like I was sitting there and I was like, if I can't move tomorrow, am I happy with the life I've been living? And I wasn't. I wasn't. Like I was making foolish decisions and committing to things that weren't good for me. And now I'm like, now I just do whatever I want to. I just do whatever. I do whatever I want to do at this point. I'm just like, my friends be like, you going on vacation again? I'm like, I don't even go on vacation anymore. I just go visit people in different states. Like it's not a vacation. Like I just get up and go. Like if I feel like leaving Michigan, I'm getting up and going leaving Michigan tomorrow.
Yeah, life is short and
it's too short. It's
and
too short and unexpected. Like
yeah,
it ain't gonna tell you when.
yep. Like I used to be a person, like I'm not a nature person, so don't ask me, for the longest I tell friends, don't ask me to camp. I'm not camping.
I don't like bugs.
Hike. I'm not, I don't want to go on a hike. Like I work hard. When I want to go on vacation, I need to see some blue waters. I need them to bring me drinks on the beach with a margaritas. But it's funny. I find myself now watching, I'll watch something on television and the people will just be walking or they might be hiking. And I find myself like, if I only could go back, I wish I could hike again. I wish I could, go and be one with nature. So, that's one thing that I tell people is, you got to live life to the fullest and tomorrow is not promised. So, your life can change unexpectedly and you might not be able to hike anymore. And it's not because you don't want to, it's because you physically can't anymore. So it's like, those are the things that I want people to take out of this mostly is that, you really have to appreciate life and every minute that you have because tomorrow is not promised.
It's not. And when you get to a point where you're just like, man, life is beautiful. Like I be telling people, I love my life. Like, am I where I want to be? No, I am far from it. But I know I just love my life. I love the people around me. And that's why, again, I know my purpose is to just send them smiles, send that energy, send that love to people because so many people are hurting.
Right.
And I've been hurt before. And then I deal with a disease that no one can see. So people still expect things from me or still expect me to do things because they can't see that I don't feel good, but I feel like crap.
Right.
It doesn't stop people from asking things because again, they don't have MS. They don't live with it every day. So a lot of people are like, oh crap, I'll be forgetting. Like, and I'm still new. We're still new. So it's an adjustment for everybody that's around you and yourself. Like,
yeah, no, it definitely is. And and you have to listen to your body and give it what it needs. And sometimes distancing yourself from people just to have peace and calm, that's what you have to do. So
Yep. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, once you come around me and you're disrupting my peace, you gotta go.
mm-hmm.
You gotta go, or I gotta go. Somebody gotta go. But my peace is not
flying. We
I
can't.
don't know who's gonna go, but somebody about to go. So I be telling people, if it don't apply, let it fly. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't got.
Yeah.
And then I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So I'm gonna see you real quick. We're gonna have fun, but then bye. I gotta go take a nap. Like, I will take a nap in a minute. Like my friends are like, "Yo, what you want to go out?" Yep, right after my nap.
Oh, so if there's one thing that you would want the world to know about Virginia, and it doesn't even have to be about MS, just
Okay.
you as a person, because I feel like a lot of times now when people think of me, it's like Mia MS, and
Yeah.
then the other part comes later. But
Yeah.
so if there's one thing that you would want people to know about Virginia outside of MS, what would it be?
I want people, when they see me, I want them to see a good time. Like, I am a great time. Like, when I'm on up here, we're gonna have fun. Like, that's just me. Again, I love to smile, I love to laugh. Like, life is hard, man. Like, life is hard. So it's how we choose to deal with it. And I just choose to deal with it with rainbows and sprinkles and all the nice little sweet things. So yeah, like I want people to see me and see like she a good time, ain't she? Yep. It's good time. Because there's no point of being I spent a lot of time being down about MS, and you wake up and you still got it.
Yeah, you're still
So I'm
here.
like, I'm wasting time. Like I'm
Yeah.
wasting time. I could be sitting up here laughing, joking, trying this new thing. Like man, so yeah, so I will want people to just see me as a good time. Like, don't let my down days, cause yeah, when I'm down, I'm down. Like,
And maybe to offer you some grace on those down days.
exactly. Like, I just want people to just be like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, or make sure that you appreciate my good days too,
Mhm.
because if I get up and I want to give people my good days, like, I'm giving y'all everything I got. Like,
Look, it might not be back for another couple of weeks. You better
yes,
think
you
how
better
you
not
can
be back. Like this is my good stuff. Like y'all better enjoy this. So yeah, I just want people to know like I'm a good time and it's positivity. Like staying positive, and that's just what I want to give. Just I want to give people that.
have energy.
Um yes, positivity. So yes, that's me.
I like that though. I like, because it's like when you have the MS diagnosis, I feel like a lot of people, they look past everything else and they associate just you with MS. And it's so annoying because even like like, I don't know about you, but I can be sitting here watching TV and I see 7 MS commercials.
Why is that? When did that happen?
And you don't notice it until you have. I'm like, why is there so many? Like, I don't need a constant reminder. It's there. I know it's there. Trust me.
You get people sending you the commercials like, "Oh, did you see that? Did you see this medication?
Yeah, did you see this? How I'm like,
Oh,
listen.
that medication." Like,
I'm like,
not one off the TV. Like, I gotta do research, man. Like,
yes, you feel me on that. I'm like, why? If we could say one thing to the media right now, can y'all stop playing so many damn MS commercials? We know the drugs. Trust us. We know them. We don't need to hear them 7-8 times a day.
right? We do not need them. We do not need them. We do not want them. So please,
Yeah.
limited.
So it's been wonderful sitting down with you and being able to talk again. For those that don't know, I messed up our first Zoom call where I didn't record. I was recording, but I wasn't recording the both of us. So
Bloopers.
yeah, Virginia.
That's MS life.
Yeah.
Like my life is full of bloopers. Like I'm like, what am I doing?
Look,
I sit here sometimes like, what am I doing? Like this doesn't make any sense.
it's like I was like, I just knew too. The last I was like, dang, this is good conversation. This is going to be good. And then it saved, and I opened it up. I was like, I only see Virginia. I didn't know both of us. Sorry, I did it to another young lady too. So I appreciate you taking the time and doing this with me again. It's
and
so,
that's the joy of having MS sisters in a community, because I don't feel no type of way, because I would have did the same thing. Like, Mia, we gonna have to do this again because something happened. Like it's and because then when you get to the point where you're just like, people make mistakes. Like I look at people and how they respond to people with mistakes now, and I'm like, really? Like people make mistakes. Like
people are
I'm
just
about to
there.
something up in like the next 5 minutes. Like I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
so yeah.
Appreciate you giving me some grace.
I give you all the grace, my love, my love, my love.
Grace. But it's wonderful talking to you again, and we'll keep in touch. And
Thank you. I love it. I'm hoping that we reach so many people, because this awareness matters, especially in our community. You can go years without knowing, and then boom.
Or a lot of people too, they've had symptoms and they said, well, thank you for sharing and being transparent, because you've now have given me the information that I need to go and see a neurologist or something. So hopefully we can get those two that come out of this. So,
and then those people that's another thing I learned too, that people don't tell people. Like some people do not tell people.
They suffer in silence.
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. And yeah, so don't suffer in silence. Like even if you just find you a community, our community that we have on Facebook, is which we met through, is like, don't do it in silence.
Yeah, if you are, if you are newly diagnosed, or if you've had MS for a long time, the Facebook group that we have on Facebook is Women of Color with Multiple Sclerosis. That can be, Black, Hispanic, Indian, and I like it because it's people that look like us.
Yes, all of us. Same issue. Like us.
All righty. Well, it's great talking to you again, and we'll keep in touch. And I will see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.